Now we're off to the valve setup procedure. First thing we do is check the port sizes versus the shop order. Make sure that we have the right equipment before we get started. Then the next step, we will test the check valve to plus minus 750 psi differential. We'll pour a little bit of water in the top, make sure we don't hear any bubbling or make sure we have a tight seal. Everything is good, we'll bleed the pressure off. And we'll make sure that the ball falls off seat. So after that's done, we'll come and we'll put on the bottom set of packing before we move to the next step. We'll put a bit of Loctite on the bottom. And then we'll go ahead and tighten it up with the Plumb-Lee wrench. Now we'll take it over to the test fixture and see where the valve opens. It should typically open on the shelf anywhere between 12 and 1400 psi. At which time we'll tap the dome pressure down to 100 psi above PTRO and cool the valve for 45 minutes. Okay, after we tap down the PTRO to 100 psi over PTRO, we'll cool the valve for 45 minutes before moving to the next step. At the end of 45 minutes, we'll take the valve out the cooling tank and we'll tap it down to TRO at 60 degrees. After this step, we go back to the cooling tank for an additional 30 minutes. After the 30 minutes is complete, we go back to the test fixture and make sure we're still on pressure. Okay, after that's done, we'll reinstall the tail plug. And we'll place the valve back in the cooling tank for an additional 30 minutes. Okay, the final step of this process, we take the valve back to the test fixture and we'll make sure that we're still on pressure. We had no changes. Okay, now we take the valve, lay it down, and the next step is to etch the valve with the customer name, field, weld number, TRO, and measured depth. Okay, after that's done, we'll go ahead and install the upper packing gland. And we'll install the BK2 latch using Loctite 242. Okay, the valve is now completely set up. The final step of the process will be to log the latch serial number and the valve serial number on the shop order for tracking purposes.